My family and I moved out of Honolulu after being townies for years. We loved living in town, but we were ready for a change. However, we had built our entire lives in town, and at this point our son was a toddler who was just getting more adventurous, and we wanted more. Today I'm sharing our personal experience with living in Honolulu and why we chose to move out. My name is Chris Shomo. I'm a real estate agent and owner and founder of Home Sweet Home Hawaii Real Estate, brokered by eXp Realty. In this video, I'll cover what it's like living in Honolulu, including the pros and cons, and why we eventually decided to leave. Here on Oahu, we refer to Honolulu as town, and all the other towns and all the other areas that are surrounding downtown are referred to by name or by area. Now, if you're considering a move to or from town, hopefully you'll find this video helpful. So let's dive right in. So let me start at number one, the positives of living in town. So we lived in I LEFT Heights for a number of years, and that's right off the Poly, and we'll pull that up on the map for you. And before that, we were living in Lower Punch Bowl. And we liked our neighbors, and in fact, we're still really good friends to this day. And the location was awesome for us for a while. My wife worked in the city financial tower downtown, and later she worked for a DoD contractor in IAEA. The drive to work was super easy for her, and as for me, I worked all over the island, so there weren't benefits in terms of work for me for us to be in town. For some of those years living in town, our son wasn't even born yet, so easy access to events or going to concerts or our favorite restaurants in town was really nice for us. Our favorite sushi spot was Doraku, and Nico's Pier 38 was our favorite place for seafood. And our favorite Indian spot was, and still is, Cafe Maharani. It was easy to meet up with almost anyone, no matter where they lived on the island. So my dad actually lived in Kaneohe in Pohainani, which is a senior facility, until he passed away. So he was only about 20 minutes away from our house, and Kailua was about 25 minutes, and Kahala was about 15 minutes southeast, and the airport was about 15 minutes in the other direction. Being in Honolulu also meant we were close to concerts and events. Living in town, of course, also means you're super close to the largest hospitals in Oahu, whether that be Queens or Kapilani Medical Center for women and children. Of course, living in town means shopping is very easy, and the largest outdoor mall in America is actually the Ala Moana Mall, which was very close by. We had easy access to everything we could need, from Whole Foods to Costco and Target and Walmart and Don Quixote, just whatever we needed. Now, the Costco in Honolulu, which is the Iwilei Costco, is the busiest Costco in the entire US, and not by small numbers, really by a landslide. It's actually the second busiest Costco in the world, with the first being in Japan. So going to Costco wasn't a flippant decision. You actually, had to plan it out, and it had to be well timed. By the way, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button and tap the notification bell. That way you can be notified when we publish a new video and keep you informed in the Hawaii real estate market. Now let me get into some negatives of living in town. And number one is the costs of homes for the condition that they're in. When we started looking at homes, we cast a really wide net because we really could live anywhere. And at this point, my wife had established her own business and work from home, and my office is wherever I am. And most of the time, I'm either at my home office or meeting with clients out and about anywhere on the island. So having this flexibility was a huge advantage for both of us. So one of the main negatives of living in town are all the older homes. Most neighborhoods have very old houses. The neighborhood of I LEFT Heights, where we live, for example, is located on a ridge that's part of the Kolau mountain range. And it was about a 6-minute drive from our house to downtown, if you could believe it. Now, if you're heading out of downtown, it was the first exit off the Poly. And the neighborhood is very old, with most of the homes built in the 30s and 40s, and there are no sidewalks. And most of I LEFT Heights is on a ridge, so the drive up is pretty steep in some places, and there are hairpin curves. Now, since the neighborhood is old, the power lines are above ground, which is actually really common here in Hawaii, so it's vulnerable to power outages when there are high winds. Now, another problem with living on a ridge is drainage from the rain coming down the mountain range is a serious issue, since the infrastructure wasn't there when the homes were built. So it's up to the homeowners to put in costly retaining walls and cement drainage paths underground. And here's the thing, if there's an issue stemming from the neighbor above you because of their drainage paths, natural or not, they're probably not going to take any measures to help you out, and it's up to you as a homeowner to redirect the flow that hits your property. But because of the location of these homes being so close to town, the cost is super high, right? We all know location, location, location. So you're gonna pay the price, you'll pay the same price for a home in fair condition that needs a complete renovation that you would pay for a modern, newer build out on the leeward side, for example. And another con, of course, living in town is congestion, the traffic, right? Everything in our control was planned around traffic, but there were plenty of meetings and appointments that just weren't flexible. Another thing you'll see in town are all the roads. They're really narrow and they're really in poor condition. So as family oriented as Leva Heights is, we didn't have close access to nice parks or the ability to walk down the sidewalk in the neighborhood. So there weren't any open spaces for the kiddos to run and play. And Waikiki, as a fun place that it is, especially for tourist attractions, it's not really the ideal place where we'd like to spend time as a family. You know, apart from maybe going on a catamaran cruise or something like that. So as far as living like directly in town, for beaches, you're really limited to the touristy spots unless you go a little further out. Now, Ala Moana Beach Park was our default, and that was about 15 minutes from our house. And while that beach is not as packed as the beaches by Waikiki hotel standards, it's always busy with people walking around the park and birthday parties with bouncy houses, and there are actually always about 3 wedding photo shoots going on at any given time. It was our favorite spot for stand-up paddleboarding for a while, and we just pop into Blue Planet to grab some boards on the way there, and they'd strap them onto the roof of the car for us, and off we go for a day of fun in the water. And parking, of course, is a huge commodity, and the further you get into the congested areas, then the more difficult it is. There are many condos in Waikiki that don't even include a parking spot at all. And on the contrary, people actually sell parking spots, and they can sell for anywhere between 35,000 bucks to 150 grand. And for the most part, people choose to own vehicles over using our public transportation system because it really isn't efficient for most folks. So you have to plan for parking anywhere you go. Now sure, if you can walk or ride a bike to work, that's a nice arrangement of course, but you'll still want a vehicle to get around the island. So those are some of the pros and cons of our experience in town. And when we started looking for a house, I mentioned that we cast a very wide net. We didn't need to live in town, and like I said, I cover all the neighborhoods on the island. So I might be in Kailua one morning, which is on the windward side, and then on the north shore that same day. My wife had started her own business, so she primarily worked from home. So our flexibility was a huge benefit, and we found a great house that we loved. It was in Ewa Beach, and almost at the same time, we found a great house in Kailua that also checked all of our boxes for the exact same list price, but it was much older and it needed a lot of updating. So we bought the Ewa Beach house. My wife was a little nervous about leaving some conveniences behind that we had in town, but we both loved the house. Next door to Ewa Beach is Kapolei, which is considered Oahu's second city. So we went for it and we made the move. We were very pleased with our decision, and we just love having so much space, the large grassy parks everywhere, especially nice for having a young son. We like having a newer, larger home. The maintenance, of course, is much easier, and being on the dry side of the island means fewer bugs and fewer issues with mold. We quickly discovered that we really do have easy access to all the conveniences that we had in town, except for Whole Foods, as my wife would say, but we have alternatives to Whole Foods like Down to Earth and nice grocery stores with healthy selections, so she doesn't mind it. The shopping centers are mostly newer too, and living on the leeward side, we have easy access to great shopping, great restaurants, and lots of nice beaches. The holidays are incredible. We have a lot of people really going all out on their decorations. People are out walking, and it's nice all year round. And we don't get a lot of rain, and families love walking in the evenings, and even more so during the holidays. Halloween is like a scene in a movie, and a block party on every corner, and Christmas is just magical. Now, New Year's Eve is crazy, and that's another topic all on its own. So if you like fireworks, then you're gonna love it. But if you have pets or babies, then you might need to take precaution and plan ahead. because the fireworks are going off non-stop. Neither of us have ever missed living in town, not even for a second, and that was over 6 years ago, so it's safe to say we are happy with our decision. Now, our home in Ewa Beach is not our forever home. We really bought it with a plan to keep it as an investment property long term, so maybe we'll end up in Kailua one day for the next one or in another one of our favorite spots on the island. Now, we of course still go everywhere on the island, into town, the windward side, the north shore so often, but we're able to avoid traffic most of the time. So we're also closer to the North Shore than we were in town. So we really do feel we have the best of all worlds in terms of what our family's needs and wants are in this season of our life. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful to give you some insight, what it's like to live in town. And if you have any questions on living in Honolulu, leave your questions in the comments below. Also, if you're interested in learning more about the real estate market in Hawaii, feel free to reach out. You can give me a call, send me an email, or shoot me a text. My contact info is below. And whether your plan is to move in the next 9 days or 9 months, we always love it when people reach out to us. Our goal is to make your process as smooth and stress-free as possible. Thanks for watching. Until next time, aloha.